Imagine walking into a room and, without uttering a single word, you shift the entire atmosphere. Eyes turn, conversations falter, and an unspoken tension ripples through the crowd. This isn't about being the loudest or the most flamboyant. It's about embodying a presence so unshakable, so self-contained, that it unnerves those who thrive on noise and validation. You, my friend, are tapping into the raw power of the Sigma male. Welcome to the Sigma male community, where we decode the traits that make independent, self-reliant men the most formidable figures in any social circle. Today we're diving into the 11 Sigma male traits that intimidate others. Not because you're trying to, but because your very existence challenges their reality. Let's unlock the codes of this silent, stoic strength and show you how to harness it. First, let's talk about spatial command. A Sigma doesn't just occupy space. He annexes it psychically, like a king claiming uncharted territory. While others jostle for attention with loud gestures or forced charisma, the Sigma stands like a monument, rooted, unreactive, radiating a silent ownership of his atmosphere. This isn't about puffing out your chest or dominating the room physically, it's the residue of brutal self-discipline. Picture the pre-dawn workouts, the hours spent studying Stoic texts, the relentless refinement of mind and body, all invisible to the crowd. What is visible is an unnerving stillness that exposes the performative hustle of others. His calm isn't passive, it's a territorial claim, a declaration of self-mastery that says, "This space bends to my will." When people sense they can't rattle him, their own insecurities bubble to the surface, and that's where the intimidation begins. It's stoicism in action. Control what you can, yourself, and let that control reshape the world around you. This spatial command is intimidating because it's a mirror to others' chaos. Imagine a heated argument breaking out at a social gathering. Everyone's shouting, trying to prove their point, but the Sigma stands apart, observing with a calm that feels almost otherworldly. He's not disengaged, he's deliberate, choosing when and how to act. This rootedness, forged through years of mastering his impulses, makes others question their own lack of control. It's as if his presence whispers, "Why are you so rattled when I'm not?" That contrast, his serenity against their frenzy, creates a psychological gap that's hard to bridge. In a world addicted to noise, the Sigma's quiet strength, grounded in Stoic discipline, becomes a force that others can't help but notice and fear. Second, anti-hierarchy positioning. Social groups thrive on pecking orders. Alphas, betas, followers all scrambling for their place. Sigmas? They atomize that structure. They don't reject the alpha/beta game out of spite. They render it irrelevant by existing outside it. While others chase status symbols, fancy job titles, social media followers, or cliques, the Sigma's indifference is like a live wire sparking discomfort. Why? Because his worth comes from within, not from external validation. This isn't rebellion, it's sovereignty, a Stoic commitment to self-reliance that says, "I am enough." His solo trajectory forces groups to confront their own codependence, and that's what terrifies them. The chilling truth he embodies is simple: you don't need them. That realization shakes the foundation of tribal minds. Consider the guy at a networking event who doesn't bother with small talk or name-dropping. He's not trying to climb the social ladder or impress the important people. He's just there doing his own thing, following his own path. This independence is unsettling because it challenges the very system most people rely on for their sense of self. If he doesn't need their approval, what does that say about their own need for it? The Sigma's refusal to play the hierarchy game, rooted in Stoic self-mastery, exposes the fragility of those who define themselves by external markers. It's not that he's above them, it's that he's free from their rules, and that freedom is what makes him untouchable and intimidating. Third, cognitive tunneling. Most people think aloud, spilling every half-formed idea to fill the silence. Sigmas think in vaults, their minds a fortress of calculated silence. That quiet isn't empty, it's a war room where they map contingencies, decode motivations, and pinpoint leverage points. This isn't manipulation, it's hypervigilance, a Stoic practice of rational observation. When a Sigma speaks, it's with surgical precision. No filler, no flattery, just words that cut to the core. His thoughts are forged in silence, and that silence is what makes his words so potent. The intimidation lies in the uncertainty. You never know what he knows or when he'll deploy it. It's like sitting across from a chess master who's already seen 10 moves ahead. Picture a boardroom where everyone's throwing out ideas, trying to sound smart. The Sigma sits quietly, taking it all in, until he drops a single comment that shifts the entire conversation. It's not just that he's insightful, it's that his insight comes from a depth others can't match. This cognitive tunneling, this ability to process and strategize in silence, is rooted in Stoic clarity, focusing on what matters and ignoring the noise. That depth unnerves people because it suggests he's seeing things they've missed, understanding motives they've hidden. When you realize he's been quietly dissecting the room, it's hard not to feel exposed, and that exposure is what makes his presence so formidable. Fourth, emotional Teflon. Chaos breaks most people, but Sigmas weaponize it. They don't suppress emotions, they transcend their grip, embodying Stoic emotional resilience. Insults slide off them like rain on glass. Drama evaporates in their presence. Pressure only sharpens their focus. This isn't numbness, it's mastery, a deliberate choice to conserve energy for action rather than reaction. While others emote for validation, the Sigma channels his energy into execution. Witnessing this triggers a primal unease. Why isn't he reacting? What does he see that I don't? His composure becomes a mirror, reflecting the fragility of those who let emotions dictate their actions. Think of a high-stakes moment, a workplace crisis or a personal conflict. Most people would be frazzled, their emotions spilling over. The Sigma, however, remains calm, almost detached, choosing his response with precision. This control isn't about ignoring the situation, it's about refusing to let it control him. This Stoic mastery of emotion makes others question their own outbursts, as if he's silently saying, "You can choose better." That unspoken challenge is what intimidates. His ability to remain unshaken highlights everyone else's instability. It's a reminder that true strength lies not in reacting to chaos, but in rising above it. Fifth, selective permeability. Sigmas don't have friends in the casual sense. They have clearance levels. Access to their inner circle isn't earned through charm or proximity, but through unspoken resonance, a shared wavelength of values and authenticity. This selectivity isn't arrogance, it's self-preservation, a Stoic commitment to protecting one's peace. Most relationships are transactional noise, but Sigmas filter for signal, choosing only those who align with their purpose. The sting comes when you realize you haven't made the cut. That exclusion isn't personal, it's philosophical, rooted in a refusal to dilute their energy. And that's what unsettles the insecure, rejection without malice. Imagine trying to befriend someone who seems friendly but keeps you at arm's length. You're not sure why, but you sense it's not about you, it's about them protecting their space. That's the Sigma's human firewall at work. He's not rude or dismissive, he's just discerning, valuing quality over quantity in his connections. This Stoic approach to relationships, prioritizing inner peace over social obligation, can feel like a judgment to those who crave universal acceptance. The Sigma's ability to say no without apology forces others to confront their own need for approval, and that confrontation is what makes his selectivity so intimidating. You feel this friction daily. If you're a Sigma, you've seen the confusion in their eyes, the discomfort when your silence outmaneuvers their noise. If you're studying this energy, understand, Sigmas aren't trying to intimidate. They simply refuse to dilute themselves to soothe mediocrity. That refusal? It's the ultimate power move, a Stoic rejection of external pressures in favor of inner truth. Now let's get back to the codes. Sixth, Chronos control. Sigmas don't manage time, they command it with the precision of a Stoic sage. While others chase urgency, deadlines, FOMO, reactive hustle, the Sigma moves with deliberate, glacial force. His pauses aren't awkward, they're tactical, giving him space to think and act with intention. Delayed responses aren't ignorance, they're audits, ensuring his actions align with his purpose. This temporal defiance unnerves a culture addicted to speed. His patience screams, "Your emergency isn't mine," and in that gap, others' anxiety blooms. It's a Stoic reminder that time is a tool, not a tyrant. Picture a world where everyone's rushing, answering emails instantly, jumping at every notification. Then there's the Sigma who takes his time, responding only when he's ready. This isn't laziness, it's sovereignty over his schedule. By refusing to be swept up in the frenzy, he exposes the chaos of those who let urgency dictate their lives. This Stoic control over time, choosing deliberation over reaction, makes others feel like they're losing control. When you see someone who's immune to the pressure of now, it forces you to question why you're so enslaved by it, and that realization is what makes his presence so unsettling. 7th, microexpression decoding. Sigmas don't just listen, they dissect, their senses tuned to the subtlest cues. Pupil dilation, vocal tremors, incongruent gestures. Nothing escapes their peripheral awareness. This isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition, a stoic practice of seeing reality as it is. When they call out a contradiction with icy calm, "You said X but your shoulders flinched at Y," the room chills. Most people hide behind masks, but Sigmas rip them off with a glance. Their ability to read the unspoken truths of others is intimidating because it strips away the facades we all rely on to navigate social life. Imagine a conversation where you think you're hiding your nerves, but the Sigma sees right through you. He notices the slight hesitation in your voice, the way your eyes dart away. He doesn't call you out to embarrass you, he just knows. This hyper-awareness, rooted in stoic clarity, makes others feel exposed as if their secrets are laid bare. The Sigma's ability to decode micro-expressions isn't about judgment, it's about truth. But that truth is what intimidates. When someone sees the real you unfiltered, it's hard not to feel vulnerable, and that vulnerability is what makes his gaze so powerful. 8th, anti-performative integrity. In a world of curated personas and personal branding, Sigmas are starkly, uncomfortably real. They don't laugh at unfunny jokes or nod at hollow opinions to fit in. This authenticity isn't just being yourself. It's a stoic refusal to be anyone else. Their consistency feels like a threat because it exposes the charade of those who bend to social pressures. The Sigma's integrity, his unwavering commitment to his own truth, challenges the inauthenticity of a world full of influencers and yes-men. It's a silent rebuke that says, "I don't need to perform, so why do you?" Think about the guy who doesn't bother with the social niceties everyone else leans into. He's not rude, but he won't fake a smile or agree just to keep the peace. This raw authenticity, grounded in stoic principles of living according to reason, makes others uncomfortable because it highlights their own compromises. When you're around someone who's unapologetically themselves, it forces you to confront the ways you've diluted your own truth for acceptance. That confrontation is what makes the Sigma's integrity so intimidating. It's a mirror to the masks we wear. 9th, resource ambivalence. Cars, clothes, job titles, Sigmas see them as tools, not trophies. This detachment from status symbols destabilizes those who define themselves by externals. His indifference whispers, "Your idols are my utensils," and that perspective shakes the foundation of materialistic values. When you can't impress a Sigma with your wins, your entire value system trembles. This stoic detachment, valuing function over form, frees him from the need to chase what society deems important, and that freedom is what makes him so formidable. Imagine showing off your new designer watch, expecting admiration, only to have the Sigma glance at it and shrug. He's not judging you, he just doesn't care. His focus is on what serves his purpose, not what signals status. This ambivalence, rooted in stoic wisdom, challenges the priorities of those who tie their worth to possessions or titles. When someone is immune to the allure of your success, it forces you to question what success really means. That questioning, sparked by the Sigma's indifference, is what makes his presence so unsettling. 10th, validation-proof mind. Sigmas don't debate to win, they think to know. External opinions are data points, not verdicts, and they'll dismantle your argument not to humiliate you, but because flawed logic offends their stoic ethos. This terrifies approval seekers because you can't flatter, guilt, or shame a man who judges himself by a private court. His mind is a fortress, immune to the social pressures that sway others. This internal judiciary, rooted in rational self-assessment, makes him seem almost untouchable, a figure who operates by his own rules. Picture a debate where everyone's trying to score points to be seen as right. The Sigma, however, is only interested in the truth. He'll point out a flaw in your logic not to embarrass you, but because he can't let it slide. This stoic commitment to reason over ego makes others feel small, not because he's trying to dominate, but because his clarity exposes their need for validation. When you can't sway someone with charm or pressure, it highlights your own reliance on those tactics, and that realization is what makes his mind so intimidating. 11th, intentional ambiguity. The ultimate weapon, engineered mystery. Sigmas leak information like radiation, slowly, deliberately. Their past? Shrouded. Their motives? Unstated. Their next move? Unreadable. This isn't secrecy, it's strategic opacity, a stoic choice to control what they reveal. Humans fear voids, so they project their insecurities onto the Sigma. Is he dangerous? A genius? A threat? The uncertainty itself paralyzes them, making his presence a psychological force that others can't pin down or predict. Think about the guy you can't quite figure out. You don't know where he's been or what he's planning, and that mystery keeps you guessing. The Sigma's intentional ambiguity isn't about hiding, it's about protecting his autonomy. By keeping others in the dark, he maintains control over his narrative, a stoic practice of guarding one's inner world. This calculated void triggers fear because it forces others to confront the unknown, and in that uncertainty, they project their own doubts and insecurities. That projection is what makes the Sigma's ambiguity so intimidating. As we've explored these 11 traits, I hope you've seen a reflection of the man you aspire to be, or perhaps the man you already are. Sigmas aren't born, they're forged through discipline, through choice, through a relentless commitment to living on their own terms. If this video has sparked something within you, if you're ready to embrace the Sigma mindset, then join us here at the Sigma Male community. Like this video, if it resonated with you, leave a comment sharing which trait you're working on, and share it with someone who could use this wisdom. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the insights and strategies we share. Together, we're building a community of men who refuse to settle for mediocrity, who choose excellence, who live by their own rules. Take that first step toward mastery today. Your journey starts now.